Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life Chat Podcast. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your day to join us on this episode for tonight, which is the benefits of helping others, featuring Ms. Robyn Beck-Gott and Miss Star Price. As you can see, I didn't have my intro music for tonight because you know me, I'm always messing with something, always tinkering, and I messed up something with my intro music. So please forgive me, y'all. I apologize. Um, but I would definitely work on that, and we'll definitely have that for the upcoming episodes. But for right now, I just want to be able to say today was a beautiful day, and I've been waiting for this episode to pop off. So here we go, y'all. Um, I just want to bring all my guests on the screen one by one. So right now we have Miss Robyn Beck-Gott coming on screen. Hello, Miss Beck-Gott.
How are you? How are you?
And I am wonderful. I am smiling once for once. Um, so I have to introduce my second guest, Miss Star Perfectly Flawed Price. Miss Star Price, y'all.
Hey,
So I'm sorry. But I just wanted to bring y'all on, and I've been waiting for this episode because I don't think that a lot of people realize my part of my story involves both of these women because of the fact that they were a part of my life when I was made the decision to work toward getting myself together, and I'm going to let them share that part. Get give a little more deeper into that part. But can you no matter who starts first, it really don't even matter. Whoever wants to start first. Just the introduction and a little bit about yourself, your background.
Okay. As Derek said, my name is Robyn Beck-Gott, and during my entire professional career, I've always worked with people. Initially, I started out working with the developmentally disabled population. I did that work for over 20 years. From there, I shifted over to high school students, worked with that population for some time. Eventually, I shifted over to the Delaware Department of Correction, working with returning citizens, and most recently started working with the homeless population. And the general theme with all of these different fields is I just wanted to make a difference in the lives of other people, the people who really need it the most. Specifically, making a difference to improve our community, help individuals become the best versions of themselves. So I just recently retired in March as the executive director. I had shifted over to a more administrative role there, which is a little different than actually working one-on-one with people. So that's my background.
All right. Also, you were also nominated uh, previously as one of what was it? One of Delaware's top 40 women in
40
business.
most 40 most empowering women in business. I was named that back in 2021. So that's because of just being myself, just being compassionate, making a difference, doing what I normally do. And someone nominated me, and I was awarded that.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to just get that out there for for some people may want to know, well, what qualifies these people to speak and share on this topic. So that's why I wanted you to put that out there.
Right. And I was featured in Delaware Today magazine with that.
Okay, superstar.
all
Superstar.
right.
Speaking of stars, hello,
So,
Miss Star.
right.
All right. So, um, wow, this goes back. It never seems like it's been that long until I start thinking about how I came into this. So being in the helping field, I started as a volunteer at Sojourners. back in 2012. And prior to that, I was in school for business management and I hated it. And I wanted to change major. And so, but I didn't want to completely jump out there and go from, to go from a business background to like human services or anything along that line. So I said, well, let me go ahead and see if I can volunteer and kind of get a feel for what it is. And I loved it off the rip. I just loved it and it just kind of went from there. I spent a lot of years at Sojourners, but time flies when you're having fun. And they say it's not work when you love what you do. And I actually did love what I did. So from there, just worked at a couple of different facilities for like human services, case management, different things like that. And I wound up getting an opportunity, or I was approached about the possibility of getting my social worker's license, and I had never thought about that. And when the person first brought it to me, I was like, why is she bringing this to me? I never like really thought about being a social worker or anything along those lines, but I still love what I did. Worked really closely with Miss Robyn for a number of years. Homeless population, substance abuse, different things like that. Reentry, all that, stuff. So I'm gathering all this life experience or all these like everything I learned in school. After I changed my major, I would apply in my volunteer and then subsequently becoming a case manager, and everything I learned at work, I would take to school. So it was like a continuation of, everything. And it just kind of went from there. So I'm still in it, still love what I do, still extremely comfortable in it. Maybe some might say a little too comfortable, with it, but it's like, it's almost like second nature to me. So that's my story. So
All right, but so I want to know, with as far as the topic, the benefits of helping others. Um, when did you realize how much you affected others when you were in your roles? How much? I don't think a lot of people realize how much you actually help people, and how much you help yourself in return. I think a lot of times people always see the help side, but they never realize how much help they're actually giving themselves. So when did you realize how much with the reciprocity? When did you realize that not only are you helping us because you were helping me as well, but when did you realize that it was benefiting you to help us?
Well, Star and I mean, we have worked with some of the most broken individuals, broken because of a variety of circumstances, broken homes, broken marriages, being separated from their children, just down on their luck, loss of hope. And so, with that being said, just having a client just accomplish just a small milestone, just something very small. We've seen people that came to us, they didn't even have identification, they didn't have anything. And just seeing them accomplish just a small thing, such as getting a photo identification card, you can actually see the light bulb, illuminate in front of them. So that's when I realized, just no matter how small, it makes a difference. Just the smallest thing. I mean, some of the things that you and I may take for granted, just coming in, you lost your hope, no place to go, you don't know who you can trust. I mean, just seeing that spark of hope, just light up in their eyes. And that's when I knew that we were making a difference.
All right. Same question, Star.
For me, to kind of piggyback off of what Ms. Robyn was saying, depending on people's backgrounds, especially like when I jumped into this, I hit the ground running, like off, like immediately working with reentry. So we were working with people with like trust issues coming out of incarceration, high risk offenders, different things like that. To get them to trust you, and you're sitting there like having to take inventory of what they're telling you and not like keeping it up here but not writing it down, and them trusting that you're going to walk them through this, having not walked in their shoes, that for me was big. And then when it comes down to, like Ms. Robyn said, when you see people accomplishing things that they didn't think were possible, or things that were so out of reach, like things like GEDs, or returning home, or getting off probation, not having to go to court anymore, getting a job when, when they have like criminal backgrounds, different things like that. When you start seeing people buy into what you quote unquote sold them and actually believing it and seeing it in practice, when maybe sometimes you might not have wholly been sure that it was going to happen, but in that you had no choice but to believe what you were telling them, because not like you're lying to them or selling them false hope, but it's a thing of, okay, I need you to trust me through this, and it's going to get rocky, but I'm going to walk you through this. And when you see that starting to materialize, then it's like, wow, I'm really making an impact on these people. And sometimes little things that you say stick with people, and when they start recycling back to you things that you've said to them, you're like, they were really listening. Like, you really paid attention to what I was saying, something that's so insignificant to you, but that one thing stuck. That not even something that you have to remember this thing, but the fact that they are reciting this back to you and they're buying into your mission. Miss Robyn is good. She was very, very good for proper conduct, fears no exposure.
No exposure.
All the time. But when you hear people starting to say things like that and recycling it back and actually living that in practice and showing this as being how they live their life, that's when it's like, wow, okay, I've planted a seed somewhere in there and it's going to grow from there. And in our case, it actually did grow into some really big things.
Yes, it did. Mm-hmm.
People left. I know people that left from that facility. I don't like keep calling places facilities. To me, that sounds like prison to me. But
Organization.
the organization. When people, some people that left there and are doing really, really, really big and good things right now. And I just wanted to say that you mentioned something a minute ago, Star, about walking in people's shoes. And I know that, I'm not gonna say I know, but I don't believe that neither one of you are. I'm taking it to the addiction side. Neither one of you are addicts or considered addicts or addicted people with addictions, right? Well, not sugar, not pork chop, none of that stuff. Something like chemicals, harsh chemicals. But how did you feel? How did that feel going through that process and dealing with us as being the addicts of chemicals and substances when you're not, when you haven't been in that position, been in those positions? And I know a lot of times, some of us would come to the door and say, "Well, you haven't been through this. You don't know what this is like, and this and that." How do you deal with that?
Let's see, how do I deal with it? Well, I've always, in any job that I've ever worked on, I always put myself in a position, if it was me, how would I want to be treated? How, I want to be treated with dignity and respect. And that's what I give anybody who I'm working with. I want a person to be as successful as they define it, not on me, but as they define it. And so I think that's how I've always tried to carry myself. If it was me, how would I want somebody to treat me? What kind of services would I like to be offered to me? As I said, I mean, we have seen some very broken individuals, and yes, they have to learn to trust us. So just because I haven't been I'm not in sobriety. I don't have an addiction problem. That doesn't mean that I can't identify with it. I don't know how Star, how she approaches that piece.
Go ahead, Star.
Well, as it relates to the addiction piece, no, I'm not in recovery. However, I have friends. More recently, in my current position, I've adapted a phrase of being addiction adjacent. It doesn't hit. It's not me directly, but I've been to funerals of family members, addiction, overdoses. I walked in the doors of where I met you two in my 30s, but 30 years worth of life and living and encountering different people and like a lot of different things. So even though it doesn't hit me directly, it's a thing of I've been around it enough. There's a very definitive. It almost scared me back then. It doesn't scare me now, but I'm like, why am I this comfortable in this? But I've never lived this, and I've never, pretended to be that. All of us are over. All of us are adults, so all of us have seen and experienced different things, and maybe done some things that we probably shouldn't have done or knew better to do, or whatever the case is. So, I remember telling a client one time. He said, "Well, you went to school, so this doesn't impact you." And I'm like, I know where I'm from, know the things that I've seen and what I've been exposed to. So I could have been 2 bad situations off from being on the other side of the desk. That's why I never took, even now, I never really bought into the hype like that because I'm on this side of the desk that I don't understand. This is my job. This is my career, but this is not my life. This is not the defining thing of me. I'm a sum total of all the different experiences and people, places that I've been, all these different things. So I don't have to go through a specific thing to have a certain level of understanding. Now, granted, I probably wouldn't be able to understand it from the same perspective of somebody that's active in an addiction or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't mean that I can't empathize with it. It doesn't mean I can't work within it. It doesn't mean I feel like we're just looking at it from 2 different perspectives, and somewhere in the middle, maybe some kind of resolution, some positive resolution can come from that. That was always my take.
That was a difficult. I know for me that was a difficult thing to deal with, a difficult situation before I started going through this actual wanting to do something different with myself and being in different environments with people that weren't addicted. And it would just be in my mind, like, how are they going to be able to tell me something or teach me something or help me with this? And they don't know what it feels like and this and that, until I grew a little bit and understand that they were, like you said, I guess the collateral side, like collateral damage, I'm going to say collateral damage. Like they may have not used the substance or been through that, done the activity, but they have a family member or a neighbor or somebody, and they were still affected by that in a way, in a sense. So now I get a better idea of how that works. I also wanted to ask this question, right? Because I remember when I first met you two. I told you y'all said I didn't smile. Y'all when we first met, why you look like that? You don't stop. Yeah, I really didn't at all. But I just remember back when I first met you, and I consider y'all. Me and Cardell, he don't have a problem with me saying his name on here. Me and Cardell, we used to call you a good cop, bad cop. So you can take your pick from there. Who was the good cop? Who was the bad cop?
Who was good and who was bad?
It depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation, right?
It was no. It was Robyn. You were always a good cop. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, y'all just switched up on us a few times.
We used to call each other Cagney and Lacey, okay? Didn't we, Star? That's just what we did,
Y'all just switching up on us a few times, but I do just want to throw this out there because a lot of the episodes I've done quite a few episodes, but I never mentioned my start. You know, because where I'm at now, I'm not way up on a pedestal, but I'm doing a lot better than I was before. And being in the organization, being where I was, being coming from where I came from, you two had that was my start. That was my beginning to get to where I'm at now because a lot of things still played through my head. Just being there gave me the ability to pursue my what I thought was going to be a lifetime career in the peer specialist role. I started that there in that facility, with that organization, with that in that building. A lot of things I never would have had going on to this point started there with y'all. So I just want to say thank y'all for that. But we're not done yet. We got a few minutes left. You know, I did just want to ask some more questions. And I also wanted to say that some people are, trying to do the right thing, right? Hypothetically, some people are trying to do. They want to do the right thing. They have this thought in their mind that maybe I can change a little bit. You know, I just don't know where to turn to. What advice do you have for someone struggling with these thoughts and just, we want to do something different with ourselves? We may not be fully committed yet, but what suggestions would you have for somebody that just is trying to work their way back into a better way of life, whether it's whether they're dealing with addiction, mental health, homelessness, or all three, because they all go together. So what type of advice, what would you have to offer verbally? This is Robyn.
Oh, it's for me? Okay.
Yes.
What kind of advice would I offer?
Suggestion.
First, you have to admit that your life is unmanageable. Okay. That you have to come to that realization that your life is unmanageable and it's out of control, and you're looking for help. That's first and foremost. Number two, with your situation, I think that you humbled yourself. You understand? Sometimes you gotta be open. You gotta be open for the help. Even Star said it herself. I mean, we don't have to have shouldn't have lived a situation, but we've been affected indirectly by people we know, by family members in our travels. Now I can drive up one street not too far from where I live, and it's a bad situation to see. I see women now standing on the corner, panhandling, things like that, and I've often pulled over and offered my business card to, and listen, why don't you come here? And then one woman in particular, she said to me, my husband's on the other corner and I don't want to leave him. So I guess it's just basically establishing rapport and trust, that when someone comes to you with a, trying to think what the word am I looking for, they are,
you started saying humble.
Yeah, they're humble, and sometimes when a person, almost like they excuse me, they surrender.
Okay.
They're surrender. Okay.
Wave the white flag.
They wave the white flag. They fully surrender. You can tell when somebody is ready. When they're at their rock bottom. I mean, so I would just offer them the fact that just trust us. Everything, encourage them. Say everything's going to be okay. Trust me on this one. You'll see if you follow our directives or specific goals and things like that, you will see that things will start to slowly turn around for yourself, and you'll start feeling better for yourself. And then that coupled with therapy as well.
That's a key part of therapy, but a lot of times, as soon as we hear therapy, we automatically think about
everybody, right?
The psychiatry on the couch, all that type of stuff. That's not necessarily.
That's not necessarily the case. Therapy is not a bad thing, and it's not a sign of weakness either. as a matter of fact, it's a sign of strength that someone is, willing to reach out to somebody else just to vent to, just to, say whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever's on your mind. And try to, we try to tell her a plan of action to address whatever issues that are coming out in the session. So I don't know, Star, how would you address that? Because you're seeing people now at their rawest form.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I stand behind before they get to the starting line. So I would encourage them to, what do you want to do? Not what do other people want you to do? What do you want?
Okay.
Start there and realize you go from 0 to 100. You got to crawl before you walk, and you're going to fall a lot. Get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. That kind of thing. I tell people all the time, you have to kind of break that. You can't just jump in with both feet and think that you're going to just be ready to all the things. Everybody has an idea in their head of what they like, what their end game is, but you can't attack anything like that. You can't address anything like that. You got to break that thing down to its most simplest, and you don't have to take it day by day. Sometimes you have to take it hour by hour, and sometimes hour by hour is too much. So take it minute by minute, moment by moment. And every day is not going to be good, but there's always an opportunity. You still have more time on your shot clock, so to speak. So you have another opportunity to get it right. And give yourself some grace, give yourself some wiggle room. And above all, don't measure yourself with somebody else's ruler. Just because you see other people doing a thing, their situations might look the same, but you don't know everything that went into their situation to make it what it is. And so theirs might be a little simpler because maybe they're not as deep in whatever, they haven't gone through the same things, or your situation might seem easier to them than it is to you. So keep your eyes on that is my going thing every day at work. Keep your eyes on your own paper. Keep your eyes on your own paper. You don't know what's going on over there. So therefore, don't measure yourself with somebody else's ruler. And above all, the race that you're running, stop looking in the other lane. There's nobody there. It's you. You're racing against yourself. So embrace that and be okay with that, and be okay with your imperfections, what you see as a failure or things not falling in place for you. Everything that might seem like a failure is not. Sometimes things fall apart to fall back together, and maybe it's not falling in place how you see it in your head because it's not supposed to. Everything happens for a reason, and you're supposed to learn from it. Don't keep doing the same things over and over again. You've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten, and kind of aspire to different things. And you have to kind of tune out the background noise and only listen to you. One of the drug and alcohol counselors that I was familiar with years ago, he used to always tell people in his sessions, stop listening to your inner critic. They're lying to you. And I would encourage people with that too. It's just a thing. We're harder on ourselves. People are harder on themselves than other people apart from us are. And who knows you better than you? Who can beat you up more than you? So
that's definitely the truth. Nobody can hurt me more than I can hurt myself, and that's not even talking about physical. I can talk myself into a whole bunch of stuff that'll destroy everything for the future. That one, if somebody did do something to me physically, that one punch might hurt for a minute and go away, but I could do some stuff to myself from the inside and last years because just from some weird, strange thoughts that I can make things better and destroy the whole community at the same time. But where with the names Robyn Beck-Gott, and I had to take it somewhere else with the name Robyn Beck-Gott and Star Price, where can we expect to see these two names in the future? I know that y'all. I'm not gonna say I know that y'all. I don't really, I don't know what y'all got going on, but I know for a fact that y'all are both gonna move up further, wherever. Y'all both gonna do something. And it's gonna be something big. I'm not saying y'all working together, but are y'all?
We're like
anything we can expect?
We're like the dynamic duo, okay? When is
there something we can expect in the future? As far as should we listen out for these names? Should we keep these names, in the back of our mind just in case we say, oh yes, I remember that person.
It's a funny thing that you said that because Star is not my government name.
Okay, but that's what you're gonna go by. I know what your name is, but that's what you're gonna go by. Okay? So since you said it, let the world, let our small world know what your name actually is. Or do you want me?
Yeah, I want you to go ahead and take a stab at it.
I'm not gonna take a stab at it. I'm gonna let you handle it, Starlise. Starlise, I'm gonna let you handle it. I didn't mean to say it. My fault. No,
but in fairness, that is not how I introduced myself at all. I've never introduced myself as Starlise. So the Star is easier for people to remember, and it's simpler that way. Y'all saw how I would, when I was doing case management, I was casual every day because I felt like that made me more relatable, and that was how I felt comfortable. The more comfortable I was, the more comfortable my clients were, and so that worked for me. But and to answer your question, definitely. Well, first of all, I learned under one of the best, which was Miss Robyn. So I have to say that. I got to keep going on this. She makes superstars, so I have to. So yeah,
thank you, Stars. Thank you for saying that.
She makes superstars.
She makes superstars. That's not specific just to y'all as former clients. Listen, I learned under her everything. I bounced stuff off of her now. To get her feedback, and when different situations come up, always in the back of my head. Because she is a great example. So that was who I learned from, and so keep it going on that. One of the biggest things was just kind of coming into my own and working under her, because we were so Cagney and Lacey.
Yes.
You rarely saw Lacey without Cagney, so to speak. So, but yeah, definitely gonna further get some more licensure my belt, some more certifications under my belt.
And then with me,
you have the whole alphabet behind your name eventually. Go ahead.
I know Star got it going on, because I'm telling you, when I met Star, this is someone that put herself through school with children, and she did it, and look where she is now, so I'm very proud of her. Just her determination. She didn't let anything deter her. And she and I did a lot of good work together. Now that I'm just taking a small pause, I look forward to doing some consulting, with other nonprofit organizations, people, organizations that are helping individuals, So that's what I want to do, because I don't want my skill set, I don't want that to sort of deteriorate, because in retirement it can deteriorate rather quickly. So I'm just trying to stay relevant, if you will. So that's what I'm doing.
All right. And so with that being said, Miss Retirement, but with that being said,
yes.
How can people get contact you? Is there contact information that you want to give out? Or if not, you don't have to. Is there contact information you want to give out through an agency or organization, or your own personal contact?
You have my number.
Oh, well, that's that question.
You could be the go-between and say, "Oh, I know someone you did." Yes.
I get commission for that. That deserves commission.
We'll talk about that piece. We'll talk about that piece, you know.
Star.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I just wanna still just continue to do what I do best. Okay. Like for instance, I have I have someone that lives, near me that's going through a tough time right now. Trying to mentor and coach them along the way. Some of the things that they need to take care of, because they're feeling pretty hopeless right now. Just recently lost their job, getting behind on their rent and things like that. No food, things like that. So just trying to connect this person with all of the resources that I know of, that's available for them. So I think that, for the work that we do, I mean, there's a certain element of it that's very rewarding too, very fulfilling. When you can honestly see someone do very well, turn their lives around, feel like proud and productive. I mean, that's good stuff to see. Star and I, we still have, former clients that still stay in touch with us. And that's good stuff right there. When you can see someone a couple years down the road or 5 years down the road, and they come back just to say thank you. I'm doing well. I'm okay. I'm still working. I'm this and that. It's a good feeling that comes from that. Seeing that, knowing that we had some part in it. Some part. It could be just a small part. I mean, like at Sojourners, I know when I called somebody, see, you just said I'm the good cop. I'm so glad you called me the good cop, Derek. I'm so glad, because when I called to the office, they'd be scared like that. But I'm so glad that I'm the good cop. I'm the good cop.
Don't hold on to that too long now. Don't hold on to it too long. You switched up sides too for a minute. But go ahead.
Okay, but I'm just
It's cool. It's cool.
Right.
It's cool. But you know what though? You know about that. Because I said that, it just brought something else to my head, right? So with that being said, I just said that you switched up sides too and all that, but not figurative. But being in that role, you still have to be not only caring, but you still have to be firm without being super aggressive. Don't let us run over you, but still, I'm going to say educate. You still have to be firm no matter what.
You have to have compassion for the welfare of people. You really do. So yes, you have to be fair and firm. You have to establish boundaries, things like that. So that's with any situation or anybody. So I'm glad that you're smiling. I'm glad that you're looking very vibrant and healthy. And
I just ate. I just ate minutes ago. That's what did it. I love food. I've been trying to find somebody to make me some pancakes with the crispy edges. Nobody make the pancakes with crispy edges no more, but that's what I want.
You need a cast iron.
I live. Yeah. Thank you for the advice. You sound like you've been making something. I'll be there. Don't even worry about it. No, but thank you. I just want to say thank you. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all for being a part of the episode. Thank you for being a part of Life Chat Podcast. But you also have to remember, honestly, for all jokes aside, y'all were where I got my start. So I mean, I'm not doing the greatest. This is not a huge syndication, but it will be soon. And I'm doing a lot better. And I thank y'all for being a part of my journey.
I'm so glad to hear
and Miss Robyn.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah.
Honestly. Thank y'all for accepting the invite. Go ahead, ma'am.
But one thing that I really admired the most about you, Derek, seriously, you don't even know this. It was you had an employment opportunity and you had to go to Philadelphia. You remember you had to catch a train to Philadelphia in the rain and you were lost and this and that. But you went. You made it. You remember that?
Yeah, I was working and I got the job and all that stuff.
You got the job. See? So you had determination. You had that determination that, yes, you were going to go to this interview like you were supposed to go. And it was pouring down raining. You remember that?
I remember all that. But I also saw Star with She did the little pensive look with the finger on it. So what is it? What is it, Miss Price?
Well, see, no, because you call me the bad cop, which is
No. Not all the time. Not all the time. A lot of the time, but not all the time.
so.
Oh, you can't get to me now. Go ahead though.
I'm closer than you think. Matter of fact, well, okay. So
Scared me.
I remember Derek telling me, "I'm going to take your job," and
No,
I
he didn't say that.
I
we were
did.
standing in front. I've never forgotten that. And when he said it, I thought he was joking, but he was stoic. Like, "I'm going to take your job," and I said, "Oh, sweetie, I'll be here long after you're going." But in that, seeing how he moved and how he was so like, if Derek said, "I'm going to do X, Y, and Z," Derek was going to do X, Y, and Z. That was going to happen. He's like, "Do this, boom. I'm going to do this, boom." So in my head, externally, it was like, okay. But in my head, I was like, let me step my game up. I got to watch this guy because he might really come.
He's right.
My job. Like, let me make sure my stuff is straight because yeah, he's a go-getter and we can lock horns, but a professional respect in that because you're very much about your business, Derek. You've always been, and so the presentation might have been a little bristly, but you know,
A lot bristly.
but yeah. So,
Thank
but that was I have never forgotten that. Like
I do remember that too. I remember saying that to you.
that.
But that's still on my radar because I'm still getting back into the field, but working my way back into the field. But yeah, that's still on my radar.
We need you.
So
Exactly. Yep. We need you.
And thank you too, Star. You almost made me cry. But I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all. I'm gonna get something. I think we'll make a cheesesteak, but that's way off. But anyway, thank y'all for being on. We're gonna end this episode for tonight. Thank y'all for accepting my invite. I appreciate y'all. Definitely gonna still be in contact within the next few minutes, actually. Anyway, but thank y'all for being on. Thank you for joining the Live Chat podcast tonight. Everybody that joined tonight, everybody that will be watching the episode later tonight on YouTube or when you have free time. Thank you. Have a good night. Be blessed. Be safe.
Thank you.
You.